Well, as we have seen, how can we do this transformations on the data using tmap component? Now let's write this data to an output file instead of tlog-row. So let me create a t file output delimited and map this to this file. And this is what is this? This is like out file. So we have all the schema. I'll do a sync columns and let's give the path. Where do I want this path? I want this in our sample data that we are doing. So this is my sample data. And let me give the file name as employee underscore data. And let this be a tab separated. I want to include header. And let's see, look at the schema. We have all the schema that's coming up, all the columns. So go ahead and run this. Well, yes, the job is completed. So now what do we want to do in this session? Now that we have written the data that it is generated from the tmap, that is the transformed data, we have written it to our output file. Let's go ahead and see how can we use a t-filter component to filter some of the records and display them in the console using a tlog-row component. So the output file is generated. Let's go to that folder. Yeah, this is the output file. Let me just do check. Yes, we have all the data generated and we have the header along with a pipe delimiter. So now what is that we want to do? Let's filter the records having experience less than 5 years. So here we have experience of 9, 1, 2, 4, 10, 7, 2, 4, 7. Okay, let's go ahead and filter the records having years of experience less than 7. How do we do that? We have a component in Talend called t-filter. So for now, let me deactivate all of this. Let me do a t file input delimited because I want to read the file that we just read. Okay, let me get this path from here. So let's pass this path and the field separator is, it's a pipe and we have header. So its header is 1. Well, yes, everything looks good. So now let's have the schema. How do I get the schema directly? I'll do something. Let me activate this. Then let me write this to here. This is an input file. I can't do that. So how do I get this? Let's go ahead and add up this schema. And yeah, try this way. And then I do it to a schema, activate this. So let me delete. Okay, we don't have anything here. So I was thinking if this would ask if it wants to get the target component schema, but it is not asking for that. So let's delete all of this. Put this all of them back. And deactivate all of this. Let's go ahead and add this schema. So what do we have? We have ID, that's employee ID, and we have name. We have experience. Then we have band. And then we have state. And then we have country, right? Let's change the types also. This is int. And this is also int. Rest of them are string. This is 10. Let this be 50. This is 10. This is 10. 30. 10. And now use a t-filter. Filter row. So I want to pass this as input to this. to the tfilter row. So now we have the tfilter row component created. What does this filter row do? This component basically is to give a condition. So here we have to filter the data with experience. So what do I want to do? I want to filter the data for the employees whose experience is less than or equal to 7. So how can I pass a condition? Click on add, and this would by default give the first column. So go ahead and change this. What is a column that we are looking at for filtering now? It's experience. And what is the function that we want to do? Because it's a numerical function, it is giving the numerical operators. And here we want to see if it is less than or equal to 7. And we want to filter all of this data. And let's write it to a t-log row. And I have a t-log row, then write it the filtered data. Here if you see, we have the options of what data we want to write it to the t-log row. We have a filter data and we have a reject data. Go ahead with the filter data. So give this as table and sync columns, and let's go ahead and run this job. There we have the data. So earlier we have 10 records where the experiences was ranging from 1 to 15 years of experiences. Now we have filtered the data to see the records where the experience is only less than 7. So all this data is either having years of experience of 7 or less than 7. So that's how we use a filter operator.